hey, who knows what the dungeon has in store, so without further ado, let's get ready to hop into it, shall we? And it was Darren Flamebeard. Perfect. Well, I mean, at least the first button press is easy, but then comes the decision making, which is always a bit tougher. As stream title suggests, I'm thinking, I was leaning towards maybe a ranged character of sorts, so my kind of go-to tried and true would be Baraki or Formicid as kind of my favorite hunters. And you know, it's been a while, so let's potentially jump in. Let's go with a Formicid. It's nice when we're unable to teleport, we have to play a little bit smarter to begin with, so it will hopefully prevent us from building up too much hubris and finding ourselves screwed over at the end of the run, but who's to say? So let's go with Formicid Hunter, and ooh, right, I forgot about this part. I actually had kind of pre-cached a name for Baraki. It's much easier to come up with frog names. I guess Ant shouldn't be too hard. Except I feel like all the ones that come to mind, we've already done at some point in the past. We could have always, of course, have a return of some of our most memorable Aunt May, Ulysses S. Ant, to name a couple. Let us go with Hewitt. Why not? Just so we're not fumbling away at the name screen for the majority of today's stream, because I'm thinking today is going to be a little bit of a shorter one. We have a busy week to get into starting tomorrow. Always fun when I'm getting set to release apps to production. Woohoo. But with all of that sorted, we'll of course dump the morgue file here. Let's just quickly snap over, grab the game seed just in case any of you lovely folks are playing along at home. See how you fare in the dungeon here, and with all of that sorted and out of the way, I guess let's jump in. Of course, starting with the hunter background means that the options are open for who we will end up worshipping. We're slowly but surely narrowing down the overall list, but we still have quite a few options on the menu here. Kleb and Uskaya both are unfortunately not a part of that, so we will have to leave those Sons of Guns behind for now. But I'm thinking this feels like potentially a Fedhas run. Could end up going with Ash. What I would like to see is Luganu, but with how things are set up these days, it's pretty tough to lock into Luganu early on, of course. So we'll have to see how everything turns out, and I guess what altars we end up finding in the first place, anywho. Hey Roga, how's it going? Hope things are well on your end, of course. Hope cosplay tournament still kicking and going swimmingly. And not too shabby. Should have a fairly straightforward first few floors of the dungeon, otherwise I would say we're doing something wrong, but honestly, if a Formicid Hunter fails in the first couple of floors, it's either just dumb luck or you get very unfortunate with the matchup of who you end up coming across here. But let's just keep a positive outlook, and how could things possibly go wrong from there? Not into manifest destiny, but I am into manifesting my destiny, and on that note, or with that in mind, we just have to believe and we shall receive. It's true because it rhymes, as with all things in life, of course. Okie dokie. We of course did switch into the ring mail as soon as we had that option available to us. I doubt we'll go much heavier, at least almost assuredly not in the early part of the game here. Level 4, not too bad. Hello, Natasha. Well, oh, son of a gun. I did not want to dig, I want to fire my short bow. Let's try that again. need Natasha to blink out of here or something. Never mind, you don't blink. Well, in that case, let's take you upstairs, my feline friend. Oh gosh. Well, seeing as how we might just die to Natasha, let's put out some butterflies, head downstairs, and just get the heck out of Dodge, shall we? Okay, a ball python shouldn't be too bad, so don't mind them coming across us here in our weakest of moments. And... jeez Louise, if you could stop webbing us up, my ribbon friend. Fantastic. We get few spells available there. Nothing really jumps out at me as being worthy of kind of changing up our game plan and switching into at this stage. How am I feeling about Terrence? Not great. Potentially what we'll do is we'll drop an exclusion on you temporarily here. Try to level up a wee bit more throughout the rest of the floor, and then we'll come back to you when we're feeling just a little bit better, you know, firing the bow faster and all that good stuff. So with that in mind, hopefully the rest of the floor is a nice smooth cakewalk, nothing to get up in arms about. At least not until we get a little bit deeper, at the very least until we find our way into the Economical Temple and can figure out what this run is going to be doing. I guess I don't technically have to deal with you, my friend. Psycho GIF? Okay, that is a brand new scroll, so wouldn't join our 3-stack. That does make me want it more. It could be anything. It could be acquirement, even. Wouldn't that be lovely? A nice early set of acquirement scrolls. Just get ourselves a triple crossbow right away. I ask for, but at the end of it all, probably not exactly what we're hoping for here. And there we go. We are able to take care of Terrence without too much problem. You'd love to see it. And on to D4. So this is where we technically have the potentiality to find ourselves with a temple entrance. Okay, hopefully... I was about to say, hopefully the priest leads the way, but they ended up splitting up. As we all know, you never split the party. Rookie mistake from our orc pals here today. But not too bad. Fogai, I'm pretty sure... Oh, okay, is an Oni. I feel like you were actually an ogre. That feels like the type of lame attempt at a wordplay name that I would come up with. And now that I've said that, I hope that it's true and that it's not a name that somebody else came up with. Otherwise, I apologize. It's only lame if it was me, of course. As with most things in life. Well, I don't really want to face off against our battle axe friend here, but even if we get the blink off, I was gonna say we weren't in a position to actually escape, but fortunately our axe wielding friend decided to take a step back for a brief moment there. Gives us the out we need to potentially get away, as long as random energy doesn't switch things up and decide to betray us at the last moment here. We are also almost healed up. Okay, come on. Random energy me away again, please, before we get to the stairs. Holy moly. Well, that was a bit of a roller coaster of emotions. Very much saw our light flashing before our very eyes there, but nothing we can't handle depending on how much more you plan on blowing our minds, my friend. In fact, we don't really have that many options besides just keep swinging at it. Curing potion doesn't quite give us the heal that we need to get through it. Yikes, a jib. Probably should have checked what kind of one they have. I honestly... At this stage, if you find a jib on D4, on a relatively strong character, you feel like you can probably just murder them before they get too much of an opportunity. But turns out they'll just mind blast us every single turn over and over again. And that does us in. Oh me oh my. Well, that's a great start to our day. But hey, let's just dive in once more from the top, shall we? Don't get it twisted, and instead just look forward to our next endeavor here, our next delving into the depths. Because this is where everything will come together, folks. Fantastic. Hey, Dark Adonis, how's it going? Okie dokie. With that, back to the early dungeon, which unfortunately means that, I guess we're just back to the road control. At the very least, the flip side of having a character that's strong for the first few floors of the dungeon generally also comes hand in hand with things being a little bit straightforward, and you would hope nothing too exciting happens. Though it may not be great for the entertainment value or the quality of my narration, at the very least leaves us in a bit of a more comfortable spot moving forward. A little tired, but everything's alright. I feel you there. I am a sleepy boy here today. Just hoping I can hold it all together long enough to get a decent run started here this evening, but of course no promises. As always, it is me still piloting, so no guarantee we'll have an iota of success the entire evening. Wouldn't have it any other way, though. Okie dokie. I also had completely forgotten that daylight savings was today. So woke up this morning and was very surprised and confused by the time it was on my oven clock. But you know, it's fall, so the fall back, you'd think that I'd feel better than normal here today. Got an extra hour. I don't think of sleep. I believe I was up past 2 a.m., but I couldn't honestly tell you. Generally by that time at night, I'm either very absorbed into playing or watching something, or I'm falling asleep with my head down on the desk in front of me here. Or, you know, if I'm really proactive and actually taking care of myself, then instead I'm passing out on that chair over there. But not too shabby. Holy moly. Well, not our most ideal setup here. At least we got the weaker Sons of Guns to follow us upstairs, and then we'll probably just circle around, hopefully run into the Orc Priest when we're looking a little more prepared for our future there. Let's bring these kiddos upstairs and handle them in smaller sizes. And beautiful. The bed absent from the equation. Yes, unfortunately, my habits are not quite at the point of being able to get myself to go to bed, even when I know in my heart of hearts that probably is about that time. In fact, usually it's not just me. Right, we can't wear headgear. What am I thinking? Usually it's not just me trying to convince myself. I even have another person. My partner is generally trying to help me and get me to take care of myself, and yet I still will find a way to just have stubbornness oozing out my orifices, apparently. But hey, it kind of works out. In fact, the other day I was saying to my partner that there's a subtle but important advantage to me falling asleep on the couch. Keeps me young and limbered up, you know, because once a week falling asleep with your neck cricked up and everything curled, just keep myself flexible, you know? That's my optimistic take on it. Ooh, quick blade, and then probably gonna die to our priest friend. Holy moly, that went downhill extremely quickly. I could try to turn you into something. Most of it was bad, but River Rat at least can't smite me, so how's that going for it? Let's try to get into a slightly safer setup here with only 3 damage on your bite. I was hoping there was a slight chance that we could heal up more than they were able to hurt us, but unfortunately not the case here. And with 10 damage on you, my friend, I guess I just hope I get lucky. Never didn't have it, of course. Never a single doubt in my mind. Just have to get good sometimes, so that is fantastic. So we do live long enough to at least quick up the pick blade. More so pick up the quick blade here. I don't think we'll actually use it, which is a shame, seeing as how we came across it so much earlier than one normally would. But hey, is what it is, and we'll still grab it just in case we change our mind in the near future here. I mean, at the very least, we're still building a dex-based build with the ranged weapons, so would scale off of that, the quick blade that is. But hey, let's just keep on keeping on, and we'll worry about the small minutia of the run as we get a bit further along here. Ooh, Chabriados, hey? Chabriados is interesting on Formicid. Again, I'm a sucker for playing with Che or worshipping Che on a slow species. But a Formicid, I mean, it would give us the strength to wear pretty heavy armor and deal with a lot of encumbrance there. Enough intelligence that we could throw in a bit of spell casting to kind of synergize with the ranged attacks that we plan on using as our bread and butter moving forward. Let's worry about that a bit later. Being good in the early game also makes you die from overconfidence as always. Me, die of overconfidence while stupidly tabbing myself into an early grave? Nah, that doesn't sound right. And by the way, you thought agility builds are good late game? I mean, they definitely are in my books. Oh no, I generally don't trust my impressions of various mechanics and features of the game, because I play like a weirdo sometimes, but I very much enjoy playing ranged characters in the later sections of the game. In fact, while casters are still probably my best 15 rune chance, ranged is actually pretty comparable. Specifically, a ranged Formicid like we're playing here at the moment. Of course, if we're going into a late game like that, I'll generally be worshipping the Shining one. And that works out fairly well. Once you get your triple crossbow wholly branded, hopefully you have a secondary triple crossbow as your main weapon, things just melt away in front of you. And especially, again, as a Formicid, being able to use a ranged weapon and a shield. Huge advantage. Don't really need to teleport out if you're just going to be absolutely obliterating everything in your path anywho. Okay, well, we don't have a whole lot of altars at our disposal here. Zin is still on our list. Chabriados, as we mentioned, of course. Could go with a late game Zom transition. Late game just being that most of the time you're either a Chaos Knight or you're not touching Zom with a 10-foot pole. But Zin, Ellie, I mean, even something like Yared, though, I don't know if I'm really feeling up to the torch here. Hopefully we'll kill everything while they're still at a far, far distance from us. So let's play with that in mind. And I guess we'll go with decisions, hey? Chabriados is rough a little bit with Formicid because, I mean, you just can't run away. There's no walking away from a fight, and when you also can't teleport, that means you are basically all in every encounter until the very end. So maybe today, I mean, maybe we go with Zin. I generally associate Zin with more of a melee style of approach, just so that you have enemies close to you and you're reciting out as you swing your mace in glory and honor. The other option, of course, is that we could hold out hope for a hero here. Hope that Fedass shows up soon, because I would potentially like to give Fedass a good old college try. It generally works and synergizes fairly well with the ranged approach, being able to put up, you know, thorn bushes to keep enemies at a distance. Not too shabby if I do say so myself. So we will at the very least finish this floor, then we'll have to make a tough decision as to whether to settle for any of these Sons of Guns, or hope that in the next little bit here we find what we need. Just want to double check my spreadsheet, as Google Excel blinds me with the light of 1,000 suns, as always. There's probably a dark mode here that I should figure out at some point, but let's not faff about with setting configurations while we're live here, shall we? So, I mean, I guess with Ellie and Zin, there's a bit of freedom there. We can always swap out. In fact, we could even swap to Fedass, and I don't believe the good gods get very upset about that. So maybe let's pick one of those two, and then we can go from there, shall we? So we have Evie here, which I always kind of forget what you do now. We can purify ourselves, heal, and attempt to pacify others is a pretty solid ability, if I remember from our last attempt with our healing pal here. Being able to heal is also pretty nice. Free heal wound potions till the end. So maybe we do just try out Ellie and see how it goes. He gives us a bit of longevity in encounters before we even have something like regen. And then I forget some of the details of the pacify, but I believe it got changed to be a little bit, it's almost more equivalent to Luganu's banish, in being a good way of just removing a tough enemy, or just an enemy we're not suited with dealing, or suited for dealing with. Don't know what order of words my brain is trying to supply with myself there, but that's fine. Don't know if I'm thinking roleplay or metagame, or Kano's dose, but I don't have a strong panic button. True, if we're on the bottom floor, at the very least, we do have the ability to shaft ourselves as Formicid. It's still not great, but again, I think maybe I'll go with Ellie, and we can always leave them. Not something I'm generally want to do, but I mean, in this case, it's not like we are making enemies. You know, everyone's happy to sharing the love. Why did our Null pal not follow me? I guess we'll never know. The science just isn't quite there yet.